So National Grid is about to undertake phase 2 of the North Quincy Cable Replacement Project, and we're here with Danielle Aretz of National Grid to give us a little overview of the project, talk about how it might impact you here in the city, and what it means for the future of the electrical system here in the city. So Danielle, nice to meet you, first of all.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here. We appreciate the invite.
You're very welcome, and we hope to do this on a kind of frequent basis as the project goes on. As I mentioned, it's now in phase 2, so who knew it already started, right?
That's a compliment. We did try to focus on an area that would be the least impactful first in the phase 1 of the project.
So if you could kind of give us an overview of what the North Quincy Cable Project is.
Sure. So the current transmission system that feeds Quincy is roughly about 50 years old, and those two transmission cables are what provide the entire city with the electricity. So it's what we call the backbone. From those transmission cables, you would then go to a substation, step down the voltage, and then that voltage, those lines go to your homes and businesses. So these two cables are what we call direct buried. So it's a cable, and it's buried underground, covered in sand and other kind of insulation material, and then there's pavement. So as the city or as developers, and even sometimes us, National Grid, as we work, that cable is prone to being either possibly struck or dug up or damaged as roadways are opened. It's also, if there needs to be maintenance, we have to dig up large sections of the roadway, which impedes traffic, right, which nobody likes. So what we are proposing is to replace this old cable with a new cable, and this new cable would be in what we call a manhole and duct bank system. And that is where you create a trench in the road, put those cables in there. That trench is then encased in concrete, then there's a substrate, and then there's the road. And then we also install these manholes every so often, and what that provides is a much less opportunity for that cable to get damaged. Secondly, our crews, when they need to perform any kind of maintenance or repair work, they actually can do most of it through the manhole. So they are popping a manhole cover versus digging up the street, which is much friendlier to our commuters.
Sure. Okay. And as I mentioned, phase 1 has already happened. What was phase 1?
Phase 1 was done over on the Newport Avenue extension part of the route, and most of that was done using horizontal directional drilling. There's a video on the website that explains that kind of construction technique, but that was done in coordination with the commercial property owners who are also going to be doing work in that area, so that we kind of coordinate, so we didn't have to rip up, pavement or any kind of street work at, secondary or after them. Like, just kind of do the most that we can while everything's open.
Sure. Okay. And that
wrapped up in September.
Oh, all right. Okay. And it went as planned?
We were on budget and on time, and we were very well coordinated with other city departments, so I would say it was a success.
Sure. So now you're ready for kind of the bigger phase of it, right?
Yes.
Is this the final phase, phase 2?
No, there'll be another.
Oh, will be?
There will be another phase.
Oh.
So phase 2 is going to be that manhole and duct bank installation along the route, which most of that route is Newport Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Phase 3 will be once the new cable is installed and it is what we call in service. We then go back and remove the old cable.
Oh, okay.
So the old cable will not stay in place. It will actually have to be removed.
I see, okay. And does it follow the same route as the old cable? It does? Okay.
For the most part. There's a few variations
here
and there, but for the most part, yes, the same route.
Okay. What is the actual route of the cable?
So The route of the cable, it connects the North Quincy substation with our Field Street substation.
Okay.
And we start off kind of in that Newport Avenue extension, and then we go down Newport Avenue, and then through Southern Artery, and then we end up in at Field Street.
Okay. So it must cross over probably Furnace Brook Parkway,
Yes.
I'm guessing?
Just,
Okay.
smidges of it.
Okay.
Do crossover.
Over to Southern Artery and then up Southern Artery to Field Street.
Yes.
Okay. So I think people will be surprised to learn that this is the main source of electricity for the city of Quincy, just these two cables.
Yes, it's 115 kilovolts.
Wow. What will be happening now in phase 2? When does it start, first of all, and what does it involve?
So phase 2 starts we are going to start, our first action will be test pitting. And that is, our crews will be out there just doing these test pits, which gives us a better view of what's underneath the roadway.
Okay.
And to make sure that they don't obviously get too close to the old cable.
Right.
We don't want that.
No.
And then we would start by installing the manholes. And those are installed, then we use the duct bank to connect manhole to manhole.
I see.
Once all of that is done, then we go back and we do what's called pulling the cable. So then the cable will actually be pulled through the duct bank, and they splice it, which is kind of like where two cable ends meet. They match them up,
Okay.
and they splice those. That's all phase 2.
Okay.
Then we would put the cable in service, which means now it has power running through it.
Okay.
Once that is done, then we go back and start the whole removal process of the old cable.
Okay, so you're working north to south, from North Quincy down.
Yes,
How long does phase 2 take?
roughly about a year.
Oh, really? Okay.
It does take about a year, and we're not saying the entire route is going to be a construction zone for the whole year.
Okay.
We kind of, for manhole installations, you kind of bounce from one manhole to another, and they take roughly about a week to 2 weeks to install.
Okay.
So we'll be in front of homes for a couple of weeks at a time, and then we kind of move to the next section. So it's not a complete, miles long worth of construction.
All at once, right?
All at
It's-
once,
okay,
yeah.
so
no.
it's many phases within phase 2.
Yes.
What are the impacts? There's going to be some, obviously, when any kind of construction. So what would the impacts be, number one, on motorists, and number two, on, businesses and homeowners?
So we've spent the last couple of years meeting with various departments within the city, the DPW being, the first and foremost, as well as the mayor's office, and working very closely with the city's traffic engineer. And we've developed best practices and ways to manage and collaborate our work with the city's work, because the city has a lot of work going on, whether it's sewer and water or new construction. So we want to make sure that if the street is open, kind of one of those things where, everybody's on the same page.
Right. Yep.
Again, also understanding that Furnace Brook Parkway, and as people are starting to go back to work and commuting, we don't want people to be stuck in hours worth of traffic. So what we have done is we will have police details. There will be some detours.
Okay.
But we are working on our schedule to make sure that we are as least impactful during those commuting hours.
Okay.
So for homes and businesses, we do understand that this is an impact. However, we do ensure that there's always access to businesses. We make sure that if we are crossing somebody's driveway, we work with that resident so that, if they do need to leave their driveway or leave their home, the crews can put a plate there. It might take a few minutes, but they will stop, they'll put a plate there, you can, leave or come back in. One of the things that we champion is our outreach program.
Yeah, talk about that. That's important, yeah.
So you will see myself,
Yeah.
you will see my colleague Darren Swim, and various other people that might help me out.
Okay.
And we walk the route
Oh, really?
prior to starting a new section. So we let people know ahead of time, we're going to be here next week. This is what you can expect. And sometimes people say, I have an issue. I have a physical therapist that comes to my house, or I have medical professionals that come to my house. Deliveries, pool guys.
You name it, right? Yeah. Landscaping, appliances, yeah.
And we work with them to make sure that they can get to where they need to get to.
Okay.
So that's been quite successful. We work very closely with the construction supervisors to make sure that, if somebody has something like a physical therapist coming to their house, or, whatever it may be, that person can access and get to the person's home.
Okay.
With businesses, we've identified, if there's deliveries coming, that they can get their deliveries. So we do quite a lot of outreach to try and identify those issues prior to, so that we can proactively approach it.
Sure.
And people kind of don't have to deal with that kind of stress about worrying if they're going to get that. Garbage pickup stays the same.
Okay.
So you'll still get your mail, you'll still get your Amazon deliveries. All of that will still happen.
Okay. Any impact on public transportation, Danielle? It's a major MBTA bus route, of course.
There should be no impact.
Okay. All right. Will there be folks that be going door to door, basically, with identification from National Grid, saying, who you are and why you're there for? Okay.
Yes. So when we do our door-to-door outreach, again, also with COVID restrictions, so we do have protocols to make sure that we're safe, and we also, the general public is safe as well. So we do door-to-door. We identify ourselves. We do have identification. And if you don't open your door, what we do is we leave a door hanger.
Okay.
We also work with apartment buildings if it's easier for us to email them the information, and they can email it to their residents.
Yep. Okay.
Or renters or tenants. We will do that as well.
Okay. We should mention there's a dedicated website just for this project, right?
Yes.
And also a dedicated email address that folks can contact, and that is updated on a regular basis, I know.
The website's updated quite regularly, almost weekly.
Okay.
And then we have our email address and the hotline. One thing that I will ask people to do is, on our website, there's a contact us, and you can opt in to receive a weekly e-newsletter. And that e-newsletter will give you, what we're planning to do that following week. It will also highlight any traffic management plans that are going to be used.
Yep.
So that's a great way to stay up to date, and it's great for people who might not even live on the route, but who maybe drive Newport Avenue. Or,
good point. Yep.
It's not an isolated area.
Right. No, I've signed up for it, and I'm already getting updates, so it works. NorthQuincyCableProject.com, so pretty simple. info@NorthQuincyCableProject.com.
We try to keep it easy.
Yeah, 1-800, 358-3879.
Yep.
Is an 800 number, so lots of ways. Will there be any community meetings, do you know, Danielle, or actual in-person meetings?
So we haven't held an in-person community meeting. However, we have had 2 virtual open houses, and those were hosted on Zoom. We had pretty good turnout, and some great questions from residents. And those are, the latest one is posted also on the website, so you can go back and view it.
Good.
One of the things that, again, I'd like to highlight is the information is, as the website and all of the information on the project is viewable in Spanish.
Oh.
It is viewable in Vietnamese and simplified Chinese.
Okay.
So
it's important in the city, yeah.
very
people.
important.
Yeah.
And that was, again, thanks to the leadership of the city, who, when I asked them what other languages should I include, they helped me identify those.
Super, okay. Will there be any disruption to electric service?
No.
No, okay.
So interestingly enough, this is a transmission project. So earlier on, I had mentioned about transmission being the backbone. So most of the outages that businesses or homes will encounter throughout the year during storms, those are on the distribution side. And those 99% of the time, those are going to be caused by falling limbs. They are going to be caused, we always say like squirrels. Sammy the squirrel is just, he's my worst enemy.
It's a problem, I know. Yeah.
So what National Grid has done in Quincy to kind of help increase the reliability of the distribution system is they've done something called feeder hardening. And what that means is a feeder is just your circuit, your lines, your distribution lines. And we've gone out and proactively done tree trimming. We've installed equipment like reclosers and cutout fuses, which all help kind of isolate if there is an outage on the distribution system.
Okay, yeah, so it's maybe a block instead of,
Instead of
an
a-
entire section of the city.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. What will this project do for the service in Quincy, the electric service? Will it enable it to have bigger capacity, or is this just kind of upgrading what's already there?
It's upgrading what's there.
Okay.
It's installing modern infrastructure. These cables are much more modern, so our crews can work on them. The cable that's currently serving Quincy is old technology. The way that I equate it is try to find someone who can fix a TV from 1970.
Okay.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's far
You can't
and
find the
few.
tubes for those anymore, yeah.
Exactly. So when there is an issue with that cable, there's very few people that can actually address and fix that.
Interesting. Okay.
Versus a new system where this is modern, and we can work right from a manhole.
Yeah, okay. What are the hours of construction, Danielle? Because folks are wondering if this is going to be waking them up in the morning or keeping them up at night.
So our construction hours generally are 7 to about 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Okay.
That being said, in areas where we might have more of a business area versus a residential, or where the city asks us to, we might work overnight hours. Again, all of that would be updated on the website
Okay.
or the newsletter. So the work hours may vary. If we get into, sometimes when you're installing something like a manhole, you have to finish. If you get to a certain point, you have to finish that day.
Can't leave a big hole in the street, right? Yeah.
No, you can't leave a
Okay.
big hole. So in those instances, it might go a little bit later.
Okay.
However, generally speaking, it's 7 to about 4:30.
Okay. Weekends or no weekends?
Right now, we don't have weekends planned.
Okay.
Typically, we don't do work on Sundays.
Okay.
Sometimes, again, depending on, especially like during the cable pulling or the splicing or the testing of the cable, we might have to work on a weekend just because you need to get it done in a certain series
I
within
see.
a certain timeline, or if the city says, we want you to kind of get moving or keep moving. You're at a good pace. Let's keep going. We might work on a Saturday. Again, we would always communicate that to the residents
Okay.
prior to us working on a Saturday. Or if there's, we might have to sometimes stop work if there's a major storm. The
Yeah.
crews are going to have to, shift their focus over to the distribution side and storm restoration.
Okay. So I think, what about holidays? Memorial Day is coming up, 4th of July. So.
No holiday work.
Okay. With a big smile on her face.
No
she
holiday
says
work.
that.
Yes, again, thanks to the mayor's office, we identified different holidays or different events that the city is hosting, and
Yes.
those are kind of, we work around that.
Okay.
So we make sure that, if there's a parade coming and
Yes.
it's going to impact the route, well, we're going to make sure that we're not there.
Okay. Yeah, Flag Day is a big deal in Quincy. Daniel.
So I've heard there's a lot of great events, so
There
I'm
are,
looking
yeah.
forward to it.
Okay, good. Folks have asked me, and I thought it was a good question, will this impact electric rates?
So this project is what we call, it's a capital project, and it is the term is ratepayer based.
Okay.
So that, but it's socialized. So it's all the ratepayers within New England Power. So it's not just Quincy residents. And the rates are set by the regulators. So from what I believe, it should not be impacting the rates.
Okay.
It's quarters of pennies
Okay.
that people pay for it in their bills.
Once phase 2 is done, how long does phase 3 take to pull the old cable out?
Phase 3 should be much quicker.
Okay.
Much quicker process because, again, it's direct buried.
Yeah.
So what we have is more like vacuum excavation, and then they literally like cut chunks of the cable and pull it.
Oh, okay. All right. So we're looking at, say, May of 2023 for completion of phase 2?
December 2023.
Oh, December 20. Okay,
Yes.
so about a year and a half.
About
Okay.
a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, December 2023 would be the new cable in service, and then 2024 would be pulling the old cable, and then once that's all done, then it's restoration.
I see. Okay. So what does that mean? Repaving and
Paving.
landscaping and
Yep.
hardscaping, things like that?
Yes, so
Pretty-
making sure that anything that was impacted throughout the project is restored back to how it was.
Okay. Is there like a power switchover ceremony or something that you do when you energize the new cables?
It's a lot of us cheering. But yeah, we can look at doing something to kind of celebrate it because this has been, it's going to be quite a number of years, and a lot of patience from the public, a lot of coordination with city departments. So I always love to have a celebration when these projects wrap up.
Any cause for a party, right?
Anything to celebrate.
How long will the new cables last if the old ones lasted 50 years?
About the same.
About the same? Okay.
Yep. The lifespan of these cables is between 40 and 50 years.
Okay. All right. Anything else we should let folks know about right now, do you think?
Just look out for us. We are going to be out in the neighborhoods walking and doing some door to door, and we value engagement.
Okay.
We want to hear from people. We want to answer your questions, listen to your concerns, and try and address everything that we possibly can. So that's our biggest ask is, read the door hangers, call us, read we do direct mail as well. So, read that information. It's important. It's helpful, but also, please reach out to us. We're here to listen, and we're here to really build that relationship throughout the next couple of years.
Okay. So if there is an issue, don't dwell on it. Don't, steam about it. React to it.
Yeah,
right?
come find us, come get us, come
Okay.
talk to us.
All right. Great to meet you, Daniel. I appreciate the opportunity, and we look forward to having these updates, on a frequent basis going forward.
Yeah, I look forward to it too.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching us here at AM Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. We will see you next time.